The golden rays of the afternoon sun streamed into your room, painting warm patterns on the floor. Your suitcase lay open on the bed, half filled with neatly folded clothes, while you busied yourself moving back and forth between the closet and the bed. Every so often, you would pause, hugging a dress against your chest, smiling faintly, and whispering to yourself like someone lost in a sweet daydream. Finally, I'll get to see him again, George Jungkook. Your voice softened at the sound of his name. Memories came rushing in those stolen glances during high school, the way his deep, unreadable eyes seemed to pierce right through people, though never lingering on you for more than a second. You had carried that secret crush like a fragile treasure, guarding it through the years. And then fate had played its quiet trick, discovering he attended the same university as you. But Jungkook was always the same, cold, reserved, wrapped in his own world as though warmth was something he rationed carefully. Now it was vacation season, and you wouldn't have expected to see him at all until last night. When Minjae, your older brother, casually mentioned over dinner that Jungkook had invited him to his mansion, a mansion where Jungkook lived alone during the holidays. You had nearly dropped your spoon. Your excitement had been instant, uncontainable. You were already plotting what to wear, what to say, how to act as though you were not completely enchanted by the man who barely spared you a glance. You placed another blouse into the suitcase, humming under your breath before muttering to yourself with a small grin. Okay, Wine, don't embarrass yourself this time. No staring at him like some lovesick schoolgirl. Just be casual. Oh, who am I kidding? He probably won't even notice me. He chuckled at your own words, though your heart was already racing in anticipation. The truth was, Minji could have gone alone, but he never left you behind in this big apartment, especially knowing your fear of the dark. You and he had lived here alone ever since the nightmarish year when your parents died back when you were only 13. From then on, Minji had been everything: your guardian, your support, your protector, working part time jobs while still studying, sacrificing his own youth so you wouldn't feel the emptiness too deeply. You glanced toward the small family photo on your desk and exhaled slowly. The thought of seeing Jungkook, Minjae's best friend, was enough to momentarily push away the shadows of the past. Just a few more hours and I'll finally be at his place. Little did you know, Jungkook's mansion would be more than just a place. It would be the start of something that would test every boundary of your heart. A sharp rap on your bedroom door broke you out of your thoughts, followed by Minjae's warm, familiar voice. Wine, are you ready or not? You glanced at your reflection in the mirror one last time, taking a stray strand of your hair behind your ear before calling back. Yes, yes, almost just a second. You grabbed your small handbag from the desk and opened the door. Minjay stood there in a crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled up, his expression softening the moment his eyes landed on you. Look, brother, am I looking good? He let out a short, affectionate laugh before stepping forward and placing a gentle kiss on your forehead, something he had been doing since you were a child. My prince is so beautiful, like always. His voice carried that mix of pride and protectiveness that had always been his way of loving you. Your lips curled into a wide smile, and without thinking, you wrapped your arms around him. The faint scent of his calling, familiar and comforting, grounded you in a way nothing else could. Thank you. You always say that because it's always true. You felt him give you shoulder a little squeeze before pulling back, checking his wristwatch with a slight frown. All right, enough with the mirror and compliments. Let's go. We are getting late, and the train won't wait for us. You laughed softly, grabbing your suitcase while he reached to take it from you. The two of you stepped into the hallway, the click of the door locking behind you, echoing faintly. With every step toward the station, the reality of what lay ahead settled deeper into your chest. You were going to Jungkook's mansion, and soon you would be standing in front of the man who had unknowingly owned your heart for years. The journey to Busan passed in a blur of clattering train wheels and soft, swaying motion. The air smelled faintly of coffee and metal, and you found yourself gazing out the window more than talking. Your mind painting silent pictures of what Jungkook's mansion might look like, its walls, its atmosphere, and him. Minjae, of course, noticed. He always did. At one point, he smiled faintly, nudging your shoulder. You're awfully quiet, Wine. Thinking about someone. You shot him a quick look, your cheeks warming. No, just watching the scenery. Minjae's lips curved into that knowing older brother smile that made you want to bury your face in your hands. He said nothing, but the amusement in his eyes spoke volumes. Somehow you knew he had always known. When you finally stepped out of the station, the coastal breeze of Busan wrapped around you, carrying with it the faint scent of salt and sea. Minjae hailed the taxi, and soon you were weaving through quiet streets until the scenery opened up into a secluded, upscale neighborhood. And there it was, Jungkook's mansion stood tall and pristine, its modern architecture all clean lines and dark glass, almost intimidating in its perfection. The what iron gates loomed ahead, and the neatly kept garden beyond whispered of quiet wealth. You swallowed hard, dragging your suitcase up the short path until you reached the imposing front door. Minji pressed the doorbell. A faint chime echoed inside. Moments later, the door opened, and there he was. Chungkook stood in the doorway wearing a black sweater that fit him too perfectly. His dark hair slightly tousled as though he had only just gotten up. His eyes, those same cool, unreadable eyes you had known for years, flickered briefly over you before settling on Minji. The change was instant. His lips curled into a genuine smile, and he stepped forward to embrace your brother in a brief but warm hug. Minje, it's been too long. They exchanged a few quiet words, and Minje stepped inside first. You followed a few steps behind, offering a polite greeting. Hello, Jungkook. He merely gave a short nod, his expression unreadable again, and turned away. Something in your chest sank. Inside the living room was a blend of modern luxury and minimalist elegance, soft leather couches, A marble coffee table and white glass walls letting in streams of natural light. Minjay casually explained why you had come along. I couldn't leave Vine alone. She hates the dark, and you know how big our apartment is when it's just her. Jungkook simply nodded once, saying nothing more before disappearing into the kitchen. You sat beside Minjay, your eyes wandering over every detail of the room, the subtle scent of cedarwood in the air, the faint hum of the refrigerator in the distance when Jungkook returned with a tray of snacks and glasses of juice. He settled across from you, placing the tray on the table. The two men began catching up, voices low and familiar, talking about their school days and old mischief. You found yourself staring at Jungkook for more than you should have, watching the way he smiled at Minji, the way his jaw moved when he laughed softly. You were so lost in your quiet days that you almost didn't hear Minji excuse himself to use the washroom. And then it happened. Jungkook's deep voice cut through the silence. Wine. Your fingers twitched, the glass in your hand slipped, shattered against the marble floor in a spray of water and glittering shards. Oh, I'm really sorry. Jungkook's lips curled, but there was no kindness in his tone. Such a careless girl can't even hold a glass properly. The mocking lilt in his voice stung more than the embarrassment itself. Your smile faltered. The Jungkook you remembered, the boy you had quietly adored, felt like a ghost. This man was sharper, colder, untouchable. You knelt to gather the shards, the chill of the floor seeping through your skin, but winced when a jagged piece pierced your palm. The sharp sting was still fresh when Minjay reappeared, his eyes widened, and he was at your side in seconds. Hey, what happened? You lifted your injured hand slightly. It's nothing, I dropped the glass. Minjay's gaze flickered toward Jungkook, a flash of disapproval in his eyes. You could have at least helped her. Jungkook's face remained impassive, his silence saying everything. No, brother, it wasn't his fault, it was mine. You forced a smile, bitter smile, though your voice was softer than before. Minji still bandaged your hand carefully, his touch gentle like he was handling something precision. From that moment, you decided you would keep your distance from Jungkook, ignore him if you had to, because being near him yet so far from the warmth you had once imagined hurt far more than you had expected. The next morning, the air in the mansion was cool and quiet, save for the faint clink of utensils in the kitchen. You stepped out of your room, already dressed, and found Minji and Jungkook seated at the dining table. Jungkook looked up briefly when you entered, but you didn't meet his eyes. Instead, you walked straight to your brother, setting your phone down beside his plate. Oppa, can we go out today, somewhere near the coast? I want to see the market. Minji's lips curved warmly. That's exactly what I was thinking. We have been coped up here too much. Jungkook spoke for the first time, his voice calm but carrying the usual edge. The market's crowded this time of year. You didn't even look at him. That's fine, we will manage. If your lack of acknowledgement bothered him, he didn't show. It just went back to sipping his coffee, but you caught the faint tightening of his jaw before he set the cup down. Later at the seaside market, the moment you arrived, you were swept up in the vibrant noise and colors. The tang of salt mixed with sizzling street food aromas, grilled squids, roasted chestnuts, and sweet pastries dusted in sugar. Minji stayed close to your side, occasionally tugging you out of the way when the crowd surged. Why, look at this, you used to love fish cakes. He poured you a skewer and handed it over, his smile almost boyish. Still do. You took a bite and laughed softly. It's just as good as I remember. Jungkook walked slightly behind, his hands in his pockets. Every so often, his eyes would flick toward you, watching, calculating, but you never turned to meet them. When you nearly tripped over a loose cobblestone, Minji's hand shot out instantly, staring you. Careful, you're always daydreaming when you walk. You laughed lightly. That's because the world's more interesting when you're not staring at your feet. From the corner of your vision, you notice Jungkook slow his steps, his eyes narrowing slightly as if annoyed with himself for not catching you first. At the cliffside, by evening, the three of you found yourselves at a quiet cliff overlooking the sea, where the sun was painting the sky in molten gold and crimson. The wind played with your hair as you sat on the worn wooden bench, your gaze fixed on the endless horizon. Minji stood and dusted off his hands. I'll get us some drinks from the stall. Don't go anywhere. You nodded, and the moment he left, silence settled between you and Jungkook. You could feel his presence beside you. The space between you felt too small for the amount of distance you wanted. Finally, his voice broke the quiet. You have been ignoring me. You didn't look at him, keeping your eyes on the waves. Have I? Don't play dumb. You have, and I think I know why. A faint, bitter smile touched your lips. Do you? Because I'm pretty sure you were clear enough that day you don't like me here. I'm just returning the favor and pretending you're not here either. He exhaled slowly, his gaze fixed on you now. I was out of line that day. Out of line? No, you were being yourself, cold, dismissive. You have been like that since the day I met you. The only difference is I finally decided to stop expecting anything else. His jaw tightened. You think I enjoy acting that way toward you? You finally turn to look at him, your eyes sharp. Enjoy? No, but it's easier for you, isn't it? Easier to keep people at arm's length. Before he could answer, Minje returned, holding three bottles of cold tea. Here, don't fight, you two, you will ruin the view. You took your bottle with a faint smile toward your brother, and the moment he sat down, you turned away from Chungkook again, leaving his unfinished words hanging in the salty breeze. And yet, you could still feel his eyes on you. Not with coldness this time, but with something else, something unreadable that you didn't dare try to name.